Hello, this is Idodmg and welcome back to the channel. In this almighty Kill Your Gods video, I want to talk to you about this game. It really came out of nowhere and you're not going to want to miss out on this one. For the price that I got it at of $15 on sale over on Green Man, this game was definitely worth the money. I hope that this video will help you decide if it is worth your time and money, if it's a game you want to check out. Let's go ahead and talk about Almighty Kill Your Gods. Almighty Kill Your Gods really just popped out of nowhere for me. Shout out to the Ethos and DMGCREW for talking about this game and really getting me interested. I had been waiting for Hood this weekend, and man, I don't know, I'm really glad I checked this game out. I picked up the game for $15.99 on Green Man Gaming. It was on a super sale there. If you want to pick it up on Green Man Gaming, I do have an affiliate link down below that you can use for any games on that website. Otherwise, you can buy the game through Steam. Right now it's on sale for $19.99, but when that sale ends, the default price will be $24.99. And there's also a supporters pack and a soundtrack that you can buy to get some other goodies with the game as well. You know, I think for $24.99 it's a fair price, and I got it for $15. I mean, what an even better deal. But some things that I want to talk about in this game that I just, I was watching Ethos stream it and I thought it looked like kind of like a silly game that I might just enjoy for a little bit here and there. And the fact that it has up to 4-player co-op, I figured why not go ahead and try it out. And once I started playing and unlocking and working through the quest line and progressing, I realized there's really a lot more to the game than what meets the eye. And that's what I want to talk about. First up, I would like to talk about combat. Usually I save combat for last, but it's just so solid in this game. It reminds me of a mix of if you've ever played Blade and Soul or Terra Online or just any type of game that has that action third-person combat with heavy combos. During my time spent playing the game, I've discovered new combos that I can use, from melee combos to mixing and matching different spells, which we'll talk about later with character customization. And then on top of it, you have progression, crafting. There's so much here in the combat itself. For me personally, I haven't had any frame drops, any hitches. It's been just buttery smooth the entire time. I think maybe one hitch happened during multiplayer one time. And I don't know, maybe I was imagining it, but the game overall has been just really honestly flawless. I haven't encountered any issues. Now, I know other people have had issues with the game, and that's probably why we see the mixed review status on the Steam review page. But for me personally, I haven't had any of those issues. I don't know if it's luck or what, but what's really interesting about Almighty Kill Your Gods is the world and the way that it is set up with its multiplayer integration. It reminds me a lot of Dauntless, where you have different islands to go out and explore. When you very first start, you have your home island that you can build up different vendors and NPCs to interact with in the starter hub type area. But then as you explore out, there's resources you can gather. There's even like buildings you can manage to earn more income for your city that you can go to and collect your daily gold income. You go over to the island overview stall over here and you can see this is your entire home island. And you can repair. You can see I can't fast travel until I do repair the buildings in red. But the other ones I can just go over there if I want to and, go ahead and, assign a worker to the place if I want to earn more gold. There's a lot to it. It's definitely a city management. And to be honest, I haven't dug a lot into the city management aspect since I am plussing out my tower, which increases my character's health and mana pool. And then within your home island, you're going to be doing a lot of your missions are going to be on the prayer board. And you'll come over here and interact when you very first start out. It's just it's going to teach you how to do different things in the world. And then as you progress, you'll learn different abilities and combos and things like that. But what's really cool about this game and the way that the multiplayer and just the world overall is set up is this travel stall over here. You can go to any of the islands that you've unlocked through your time playing. So I've only unlocked Lupa and the Feral Island over here. And if I had friends online, I would see who it is, how many people are in their party, and what island they're on if I want to join them. On top of that, down here in the bottom left, you can have it set to a private party. So when I go to this island, it'll be guaranteed just me. You can have friends only or public. And I'm going to tell you, last night I had it set to public. One issue I have is it automatically, whenever you come back to town and open this, it sets it back to public. It doesn't save your previous setting. I had it on friends only because I prefer that. but it was setting it to public, and I'd go into these new islands, or these, I'd go into Loop Island, for example, and there'd already be like 2, 3 other dudes in there. And you're not partying or anything. You can just run around. So it's kind of like an MMO-lite. I'm running into random players, seeing what they're doing, helping them out, or maybe stirring up some trouble in their island to, make it a little bit more difficult for them, kind of things like that. And once you get into the island, you can invite people actually into your party, and then there's a nice little party UI in the bottom right. The multiplayer it's seamless, and you can jump in and out of people's worlds. I was really, really, really shocked at how seamless the multiplayer is. The last bit I want to mention, and it seems like a big part of this game, is your home base can actually get attacked. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of this, but I think there's a way to set up like scout towers and guard towers so you can scout for attacks and lure in attacks to your city, and hopefully get spoils from that and things like that. I haven't messed with that part yet, but hopefully we'll have more coverage of this game on the channel in the future, and we can deep dive into all that stuff. But for now, let's stick to the first impressions and my thoughts on the game. So we've talked about the combat, the world. Let's talk a little bit about character progression. This one could be a touchy topic for some people, I feel like. And for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and just explain to you what it is and what I've noticed. While you're progressing through, as I mentioned, you're going to have that prayer board, which is going to kind of tell you what to go and do. Now, keep in mind, when you go out to those islands, you can do whatever you want. I mean, each island's like its own open world, like sandbox, basically. You can run around, kill bosses. You could just farm meat, for example, if you want to cook up food in your kitchen. You could run around just killing monsters, treasure hunting. There's a lot of different things to go and do on those islands. So keep that in mind as I'm explaining this next part. So as I mentioned, you'll be at the prayer board, and this will kind of like hold your hand in a way of telling you to go do this, go do that, and go do this. And the way that this whole thing is set up it's okay to me, because the game doesn't explain a lot to you up front, and having that teach you and kind of just help guide you during your early adventure is definitely a welcomed feature. I've played for about 6 hours now, and I still feel like I have a lot left to learn. But where the character progression gets interesting is when you actually click on the progression button down here. You can see on the bottom we have our player level and these different tiers. You have your primal, evolved, ascendant, godly, almighty, and then you go into hero, legend, and exalted. And these are all directly tied to your character level. So what's interesting about this, and it really, I think, is power creep, is what I would call it, but I'm trying to keep my opinions out of it, and let's just explain how it kind of works. I'm currently level 9. When I hit level 10, I then will have access to evolved gear, drops, crafting, worlds, like different islands for that specific tier. And so it seems to me that it's nice to have this to constantly be wanting to level up and get up there. But it seems like, once I've hit level 65 and I'm in this almighty tier and just progressing through the last bit of tiers, I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it's nice to have something to be working towards. And that's kind of how the system works. Until I've really dove in and seen exactly what I unlock at each tier, it's really hard to say if it's seriously power creep or just a long grind or what it is. I've played 6 hours. I'm level 9. Leveling up seems to be a little bit on the slow end, but that's okay. As long as I'm having fun going out and exploring the islands, killing monsters, doing quests, getting loot, crafting, leveling up, just playing the game basically instead of just focused on that number, I think it's an okay thing to have. But there's a lot of other ways to progress in this game. You have the city building that I mentioned. You have the achievement thing over here you can unlock. And they're kind of like accolades, but you get different things for doing all these. There's a lot here in terms of progression and goals to be working towards. Here's one that I completed. I just happened to capture on video while we're doing this. There you go. That's what you get. I killed 154 lost, so I'm going to get my gold and XP from that. And now we're working on Mastery 2 for that, I guess. Kind of cool. I don't have any complaints there. There's more to character progression, I guess, with crafting and all that. I don't want to get into it in this video, but that's kind of the general. I really wanted to point out that leveling progression of tiers and whatnot. Outside of character progression, you have your city progression, but let's go ahead and move on to the next topic. I'm trying to keep the video short and sweet for you guys so you can decide if you want to jump in and join me in this game or not. Last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about character customization, loot, itemization, things like that. While you're killing monsters in this game, you will have loot falling out from these dead bodies, and you'll be collecting loot through your adventures. Where this game gets really interesting with its loot is I'm now on my inventory screen, and you can see loot. Loot needs to be extracted before you can use it. You can see that this will be full of loot that I've gathered on the island. Now, in order to actually keep that loot, I have to take it to an extract point, which is a whole ordeal. So I just joined this island for this video while I'm recording footage here to kind of show you a little bit about the loot and how all that works. And there's 2 other random players in our game, just take note of that. So while you're out here collecting loot, killing bosses, which we're doing right now, this boss, man, I've killed this thing more than once. Hopefully he drops us some goodies. That was actually a thunderhead that we just killed, so we're going to go ahead and get some loot here. Now, you're going to realize I just got some thunderbolts, some materials, gears, blah, blah, blah. Now, let's go into my loot here, and you can see that these are in the loot part of the UI. The reason I'm pointing that out is like gold and things, keys, those are separate. Those don't need to be extracted. But materials and gear and things like that do. So now, in order to extract these, you have to actually open your map and find an extraction point. There appears to be one north of us, I think. And this guy has already started to activate this extraction specifically here. Let's go ahead and join him. I gotta say, man, just the movements on this game is awesome. So he has already gone ahead and summoned to this portal, and we're going to extract those items that we have. You can see they're now gone. They've gone up into the extraction point. While this is activated, you can see the green icon that's counting down until the whole process is complete. The red bar is the health of our extraction point. So if you have a lot of mobs that have chased you and followed you here, they're going to be attacking that, and they can actually totally stop the extraction process. And if that happens, you then have to pick up your loot and try again. It can get really hectic, especially at more higher anger levels and when there's more stuff going on the island. And there you go. We extracted our 9 ingredients that we got. So it adds this risk and reward. And I mentioned anger level. I want to just mention that real quick, and then we'll get back on track here, I promise. You can see this island is at anger level 3. The higher anger level it gets, the more bosses it spawns. It seems like the higher level the bosses are, the more events take place. Hazards. I mean, we had a freaking fire and lightning twister chasing us the other night. It's pretty wild. And so it gives us this really good trade-off of, do I want to keep pushing on for these higher anger levels, or do I want to go ahead and cash out now? For me, I've been doing whatever my quest is so that I can just keep progressing that quest line and that prayer board. So that's how loot works, and that's a really interesting part. So I guess that we're going to talk about character customization now. So now that we're back in our home island and in a safe spot where I'm not going to get jumped while I'm trying to talk to you about character customization, let's go ahead and jump in. So this game is, like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of an MMO-lite, right? I just jumped into a public island. There's other players there. I could have done different roles, damage, healing, or tanking, I guess, if I wanted to. Let's go ahead and jump into our loadout section of the game here. This is just a huge, huge part of the game. You have 6 slots. The game starts you off with these 3, the Primal, Wolf, Defender, and Healer. And they do different things. Wolf is going to be your damage dealing. You start off with these fire base attacks. And I think, yeah, here's the one that shoots rapid fire bolts. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's it's a starter skill. You also have a tank type of build you can do where you can actually summon the shield. You can crouch down and people can, trampoline off you if you want. So there's a little bit of synergy there. There's even a healer build. And we were playing last night with Ethos, and I'm going to tell you, man, healing is very, very, very strong. I mean, we really never ran the risk of dying. I mean, the healing becomes insanely powerful. Again, we're still early on in the game, so hopefully the difficulty will change there. And then I've also been working on this Void loadout as well. But what can you do? So there's loadouts, that's cool, but what can you do with each loadout? Within each loadout, you have 5 different item slots that you can customize. You have 2 gauntlet slots, which are your basically think of them as your weapons in the game, right? You have one for your left and one for your right hand, and they have different stats tied to them. Here's a whole bunch of different ones. I'll just kind of go through and you can see what the stats look like here. And I've noticed a lot of them have these sigils on them that I'm still not very familiar with. There's empty slots that you can use to enchant within your crafting. Quite a bit here. I haven't dove super deep into it again. This is just kind of what I've noticed, is you have all these sigils down here that do different things. And then underneath your gauntlets, you have, these are the actual spells. Think of this is what dictates your abilities that you can actually use in combat. So I have gone with, on my left hand, I've gone with the sticky plasma ball that is a timed explosion. But this is how I was getting the healing and the fireball and the shield and all that. And you can find more as you play and progress throughout the game. Here's a new one I just got that I didn't know about until just now. Cool. Oh, but it only reflects ice magic, so that probably wouldn't be that great. But a lot of different ones here, and then you can also do the same thing over on your right hand as well. I have the plasma set up for kind of like the void theme, I guess. And then in the middle here, you have your amulet. And this is what decides your ultimate ability. Because while you're out killing monsters, you'll notice that very center part of the UI. Currently, it's a shield icon because that's my ultimate ability. But as I'm killing stuff, that ultimate will charge up. And then when I hit my Q ability to activate the ultimate, it will then do what it says on this amulet. Turns your skin to iron, reducing incoming damage. Also affects pack members. And it also gives health and magic regen. Really, really great for group play. I was messing with it last night. I actually really love this Ami. It's super good for utility. But there's other ones. I had one that did like a void portal where it just pulled mobs in. There's a lot. There's so many different items in this game. It's crazy to customize your build. But that's kind of the basics of how your loadouts work and what you can actually customize. I was just sitting here looking. You also have your daily quest, your weekly quest. There's so much in this game, and I only paid $15 for it, dude. I feel like I really got my money's worth. But that's pretty much Almighty Kill Your Gods, my first impressions and things that I'm really enjoying and looking forward to. And hopefully I gave you a little bit of insight into this game, and if it's something that you want to pick up and spend your time and money on. If so, feel free to hit me up. I'd love to group up with you and kill some monsters and get some loot. If you enjoy this video and all the content on the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell notification to get notified when I post new videos and also when I go live. I stream primarily here on the YouTube channel on Fridays and Saturdays. Occasionally I will stream over on the Twitch channel. And you can find all our social media links down below in the description. We also have a Twitter and a small but growing Discord community. Don't forget, your view means the absolute world to me. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.